Welcome back to the deep dive. Usually when we look at a car company's upcoming lineup, you can see a single clear direction.
Right. There's a strategy. Everyone's marching the same way.
Exactly. Either it's all in on electric or they're clinging to gas for one last ride. But we've been combing through the Mercedes-Benz data for 2025 and 2026, the prototypes, the specs, the restoration logs, and honestly,
That's complete contradiction.
it is. It feels like they're trying to live in two different timelines at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. On one side of the showroom, you've got the new CLA and the E-Class, which are, they're basically smartphones on wheels.
Hyperscreens, AI assistants, all that.
Yeah, heavy hybridization. And then, 10 feet away, you have the Maybach S680 and the G-Class, and they're doubling down on, well, Cold War era technology.
We are talking huge V12 engines and solid rear axles. It's a wild mix. So for this deep dive, our mission is to try and make sense of this split personality.
And we've got the first looks at the 2026 prototypes, the specs on the new Night Series luxury models, and reviews of that new G-Class suspension.
The one that supposedly defies physics.
That's the one. But we're not just looking at the glossy brochures today.
No, and this is my favorite part of the research stack we've got. We have these incredible documents from the restoration community. People like Matt Armstrong and legit street cars who've actually put wrenches on these things.
Right.
Because it's one thing to hear about engineering excellence in a press release.
Right.
It's another thing completely to see what happens when one digital sensor fails and just bricks a six-figure car.
That's where the rubber meets the road. Literally. We're going to see if this blend of heritage and futurism is actually sustainable.
Or if it's just creating a maintenance nightmare down the road.
Exactly.
So let's start at the very top of the food chain. The apex predator of luxury sedans, the S-Class and the Maybach.
Right. The 2026 S-Class refresh. We're seeing spy shots of it on the road now. And visually, they aren't reinventing the wheel, but they are definitely shouting louder about the brand.
The headlights, right, I saw the photos.
The headlights and the taillights, they've actually integrated a lighting pattern inside the housing that mimics the three-pointed star logo.
It feels a bit aggressive. Like they're terrified you might forget what you're looking at, so they put the logo in the light.
Well, branding is getting much more overt everywhere. You see it with the grille, too. It's larger, it reaches deeper into the bumper. It's all about presence.
But the real change is inside, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the big one. They're moving to what they call a curved screen system.
Is that different from the hyperscreen?
It's an evolution. The goal is to get rid of that visual break between the driver's display and the center console. Create this high-tech lounge.
Okay, but if we're talking about a real lounge like a VIP club lounge, we have to talk about the Maybach Night Series.
Ah, yes, the Night Series.
This fascinated me because usually Maybach is all bright chrome and champagne and, being seen from orbit. This feels moodier.
It is. It's a darker, edgier look. They've taken all that chrome, the grille, the badges, the tailpipes, and done it in a dark chrome finish.
And what's that little flash of color in the headlights?
Those are rose gold accents.
Huh. But I think I saw in one of the reviews, it doesn't always look like rose gold in person.
Yeah, that's a good point. In direct sunlight, it can look pretty distinctly orange, which might not be the vibe you want when you're spending this much.
Maybe not.
And they have a specific two-tone paint for it, too. Onyx black and Mojave silver.
But here's the thing that really matters to the car nerds listening. The Maybach is where Mercedes is drawing a line in the sand with their engines.
The dinosaur's still alive.
The M279, the 6.0-liter V12.
And in an era where everyone, even Ferrari, is hybridizing everything, Mercedes has kept this V12 completely pure in the Maybach. No electric motors, no 48-volt assist, nothing.
But why? Surely a hybrid system would make it more efficient or give it more torque.
Efficiency is not the metric here. It's about sensation. Or, more accurately, the lack of it.
A lack of sensation.
A V12 has perfect primary and secondary balance. It fires every 60 degrees of rotation. It is inherently physically smooth in a way a V8 or a hybrid V6 just can't be.
So adding a battery would just complicate that perfection.
It would add weight and complexity to a system that's already flawless for its specific job.
Yeah.
Moving a very heavy car without the passenger feeling a single vibration. It is all about isolation.
Speaking of not feeling anything, they got some wild software for that too. I read about the chauffeur mode.
It's brilliant. If you select that mode, the car physically locks out first gear. It always starts in second.
Always in second.
And it remaps the throttle pedal to be incredibly lazy. So even if the driver sneezes and stomps on the gas, the car just gently rolls forward.
It's all designed so the VIP in the back doesn't spill their drink.
Which, by the way, they are probably drinking out of silver-plated flutes.
I saw the price on those. In the Indian market listing we looked at, the flutes alone were thousands of dollars, just for the cups.
And you can't forget the wipers.
The intensive cleaning system.
Right. So think about a normal wiper. It sprays water on the windshield, and for a split second, your vision is totally obscured.
Sure.
For a head of state or a billionaire, that split second is unacceptable. So the Maybach blades have these laser cut holes. They inject the fluid directly in front of the blade as it moves.
So you never see a splash, it just wipes and cleans at the same time.
Exactly.
That is an insane level of detail. But it also highlights the cost. We are talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. Which brings us to another vehicle in the 2026 lineup that costs almost as much, but is, well, it's basically a farm truck underneath.
The G-Class, the G-Wagon.
We have to talk about the 2026 G63 AMG. You called it physics-defying before. Break that down. Why shouldn't this car work?
Okay, so think about the architecture. It's a ladder framed to steel rails. It's got a solid rear axle, which is, technology from a pickup truck. It is tall, it's shaped like a brick, and it's incredibly heavy.
It should handle terribly.
It should roll over in corners. It should wallow and float. But for 2026, they've added something called active ride control.
And this is the game changer.
This is a genuine engineering breakthrough for this kind of vehicle. It's a hydraulic suspension.
Right, so no more anti-roll bars.
Threw them in the trash. Instead, they connect the shock absorbers with hydraulic lines. So when you go into a corner, the car can instantly pump high-pressure fluid to the outside wheels to physically push the car level.
So instead of leaning, the car just stays flat.
A reviewer compared it to a sports car. It basically deletes the sensation of weight in a corner, and the beauty is when you go off-road because there's no solid bar, the wheels can move totally independently.
The best of both worlds. That is incredible.
It's amazing what a massive engineering budget can do.
And a massive paint budget. Did you see the brilliant blue Magno?
The matte finish, yes.
I nearly choked when I saw the price. It's something like 9,200 Canadian dollars for paint.
Well, matte paint is notoriously difficult. You can't just buff out a scratch. It has to be perfect from the factory.
Still, that's the price of a used Honda Civic just for the color. But there's one change up front that I think is actually worth the money.
The camera placement.
Finally, yes. For years, if you got the bull bar on the front, it just blocked the front camera. You'd look at the screen and see a black metal bar.
Which is hilarious on a $200,000 car.
Sorry, your safety feature is blocked by your luxury feature.
It was absurd. So now they've actually integrated the camera into the bull bar housing down low, so you get a clear view.
Now, unlike the Maybach V12, the G63 engine has changed a bit, right? Still a V8.
It's still the handcrafted 4.0-liter bi-turbo V8. But it has succumbed to the times just a little. It now has a 48-volt mild hybrid system.
Does that ruin the character?
Not really. It's mostly there to fill in the torque gap. You know, that moment before the turbo spool up, the electric motor gives you an instant shove. Makes it feel even punchier.
And the sound. The side pipes are still there.
Oh, that's non-negotiable for the G63. The exhaust still exits right under the rear passenger doors. You get this stereo rumble that vibrates up through the floor. If they ever got rid of that, there would be riots.
It's funny, we're talking about these huge V12s and V8s, but the cars that actually pay the bills for Mercedes are, the GLE and the E-Class.
The bread and butter. Absolutely.
And the 2026 GLE seems to be positioning itself as the same choice in the lineup.
It's the balance vehicle. They aren't doing anything radical, some new colors, Alpine Gray, Verde Silver, but the real focus is on calm practicality.
But it does have that one party trick.
Yes.
Bounce mode.
The bounce mode.
So technically it's for getting unstuck from deep sand. The air suspension rapidly pumps up and down to compact the sand under the tires.
But in reality, who's using it for that?
Nobody. You see it on Instagram at red lights. People make the car bounce like a lowrider. It's a gimmick for 99% of owners, but it is a legitimate tool if you ever need it.
And then there's the E-Class. This feels like the biggest step into that digital future we mentioned. This is where the super screen comes in. 3 screens across the dash. But the big news is they're opening up the software gates.
Third-party apps.
Angry Birds, TikTok, Zoom, build right into the dashboard.
That just feels dystopian. Playing Angry Birds on your dashboard.
Well, it tells you who the customer is. It's the parent waiting in the school pickup line. You play a game for 10 minutes, then hop on a Zoom call for work. The car is becoming a third living space.
But they've had to engineer safety around that.
Right. The passenger screen has a privacy filter. If the car is moving, the driver physically cannot see what's on that screen. It just looks black to them.
And I added that center airbag.
Yes, a center-mounted airbag between the front seats to stop the driver and passenger from colliding with each other in a side impact crash. So you've got this incredible safety tech right next to the TikTok app.
Okay, so that's the shiny showroom floor. But I want to pivot to the second half of our deep dive, because we looked at some restoration stories that just expose the dark side of all this complexity.
This is the reality check. The engineering trade-off.
We have to talk about Matt Armstrong's wrecked G63. He bought a 2020 model at auction.
A brave man. Buying a wrecked modern Mercedes is not for the faint of heart.
Right. The listing said hole in gearbox, which is terrifying. But he gets it on the lift. There's no hole. Mechanically, it looked okay, but the car was a brick. It just would not start.
And this is where we see that chain reaction of modern car electronics. In an old car, you have gas and spark, it runs. In a new Mercedes, you need permission from about 50 different computers.
So what was the first link in the chain here?
It started with a crash sensor, a little sensor on the front grille. Because the bumper was damaged, that sensor was missing. The car's main brain, the ECU, did a system check, saw it was gone, and just said, nope, unsafe. Disabled the starter.
Okay, so just plug in a new sensor and you're good.
You would think so, but no. After they cleared that error, it still wouldn't crank. They traced it to the brake pedal switch.
A switch.
A $10 plastic switch that tells the car you're pressing the brake. If the car doesn't get that signal, it won't let you start the engine. The switch was faulty.
So a six-figure twin-turbo V8 monster is defeated by a $10 piece of plastic.
Precisely. And even after they fixed that, the starter motor itself was dead.
It's just one thing after another. But then came the real horror story.
The engine was seized, locked, solid.
And that's the mystery. It had oil in it. It didn't look like it had been in a flood.
The theory is it just sat for so long after the crash, or maybe oil drained away from critical parts, that the internals just fused together. It needed a complete engine swap.
It just shows that these cars are almost biological. If you leave them sitting, they die.
That is even more true for the mechanical systems. We saw another case with legit street cars. He bought a 2002 G-Wagon.
An older one.
Yeah, and the holy grail of the G-Wagon is the triple locking differentials, front, center, and rear. But on his truck, they weren't working.
And the fix was absolutely disgusting.
It was. So the system uses a mix of vacuum lines and hydraulic fluid. It uses brake fluid to push the pins that lock the axles. But brake fluid is hygroscopic.
Oh.
It absorbs water from the air. Over 20 years, if you don't use those lockers, and most owners never do, that fluid sits there, absorbs moisture, and it calcifies.
It turns into a solid.
It turns into this white, chalky gunk. Like the car has clogged arteries. He literally had to perform a colonoscopy on the hydraulic lines.
That is a mental image I did not need.
He was shoving a wire down these tiny metal tubes to physically poke out the gunk. It took days.
But it's a great lesson. We think low mileage is good, but for a complex system like that, low mileage is death. You have to exercise the machinery.
Use it or lose it, absolutely. And then you have environmental factors. We looked at an SLS Black Series. This is a collector car. We're talking 800,000 euros.
A serious investment. You expect it to be perfect.
But this one came from Newport Beach. Salt air, the silent killer.
Right.
So the bodywork, it looks pristine, but you put it on a lift, and the suspension bolts, the brackets, the fuel lines, everything underneath was just being eaten away by corrosion.
The iceberg effect.
Exactly. It reminds you that even the most expensive engineering is just metal, and nature always wins.
It really makes you look at that 2026 lineup differently. We see the active ride control and the screens, but in 20 years, will those systems be the new clogged arteries?
That is the big question. With that 2002 G-Wagon, you could fix it with a wire and some fresh fluid. It was mechanical. But how do you fix a 2026 S-Class when the software license for the AI assistant expires?
Or when the curved OLED screen just starts to delaminate.
Yeah.
Speaking of that AI, let's just touch on the entry point for this future, the new CLA.
The gateway drug. The 2026 CLA is a huge deal because it's on a brand new architecture, a hybrid-first platform.
Oh, 1.5-liter engine, right. Tiny.
It's tiny. A 1.5-liter four-cylinder, but it's paired with that 48-volt hybrid system and an 8-speed dual clutch. It's all about efficiency.
And this is where the AI really lives.
The new Hey Mercedes assistant. It uses AI to learn your patterns. It's not just voice control anymore. It learns that you call your spouse at 5 p.m. or that you like the seat heated when it's below 10 degrees. It tries to predict what you want.
So pulling this all together, we have a lineup that goes from a 1.5-liter AI-powered robot to a 6.0-liter V12 dinosaur. What is the strategy here?
The strategy is segmentation, pure and simple. Mercedes has realized that the ultra-rich, the Maybach and G-Wagon buyers, they still want mechanical emotion.
The rumble, the history.
Exactly. They'll pay for the old world.
Okay.
But the mass market, the E-Class, the CLA, they're moving to a device model. The value isn't in the cylinders anymore. It's in the screens, the connectivity, the apps.
Mechanical luxury versus digital luxury.
That's it. And they are very happily selling both at the same time.
It does leave me with one nagging thought, though. We saw how hard it was to revive that 20-year-old G-Wagon. It was tough, but it was possible because it was physical. When we look at that 2026 S-Class, with its sensors that brick the car if they're missing, and its cloud-connected AI, is peak luxury becoming incompatible with longevity.
It's a valid fear. I mean, a mechanical watch can last 100 years. An iPhone lasts 5. If cars are becoming iPhones, we might be seeing the end of the classic car as we know it.
They might just become very expensive e-waste.
It's possible.
On that cheery note, look, the engineering is spectacular. If you're buying one new, enjoy the V12s while you can. Just maybe be nice to your mechanic.
Because he is going to have a massive headache in about 10 years.
A huge one. Big thanks to the creators, Matt Armstrong, Legit Street Cars, and all the reviewers for the insights. And thank you for listening to The Deep Dive. Catch you next time.